Okay, Assalamualaikum all. So in this video, I'm going to show you and introduce to you SPSS. So SPSS stands for Statistical Package for Social Science. Okay, so SPSS is one of the statistical software that help us to analyze data easily. Okay, basically we have two windows in SPSS. So if you look at here in this part, bottom left here, so we have two windows. So the first one is for variable view. So this is variable view window. So this is where we store our variable. Okay, so we have name of variable, columns for name of variable, type of the variable, with decimal label and so forth. So after this I'm going to explain in detail. Okay, then second one here we have data view window. So if you click here, so this is where we key in the data. Okay, so var here referring to variable that we will store in variable view window here. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so forth. This one will represent our single data lah, okay? Represent our sample. Okay, so now let's look at how to key in our first variable. Okay, before that, recall in chapter 1, we have two types of variable, which are quantitative variable and qualitative variable. Okay, so quantitative variable is variable that was measured based on numerical scale yang bernumber, and the other one is qualitative variable based on non-numerical scale. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to key in data in SPSS for quantitative variable first. Okay, so remember, quantitative variable is numerical scale, based on numerical scale. Okay, example, let's say my first variable here is about amount of you spend for food per day. Okay, so in SPSS, so how to give name to the variable is up to us as a researcher. Okay, as long as we understand what is the variable stands for. Okay, so let's say our variable just now is amount spent for food per day. Okay, quite long name for the variable, right? So maybe I just put it as amount. Okay, or maybe some of you want to put amount spent. Okay, note that in SPSS we cannot put space between name of variable. Okay, what I mean is, okay, let's say I want to name the variable as amount spent. So let's say I put amount, then I press spacebar and then spend. Okay, look at what happened. Variable name contains an illegal character. Okay, so in SPSS, it does not allow space between name of variable. Okay, so what you can do, so maybe you can put it as amount dot spend. Okay, or maybe you can put amount underscore spend. Okay, so it doesn't matter as long as you understand the name of variable. So maybe I just want a simple variable name. I just put amount. Okay. Okay, type. Okay, this one reflects the data values that we will key in our data view window here. Okay, so just now I already typed variable name amount, so then it will appear in data view windows. Okay, so first variable is amount. Okay, type. So let's say my data values based on numerical scale. So if you click here, we need to take numeric. Okay, for numerical data values. Okay, by default decimal point is 2. Okay, so let's say I go to data view. Let's say my first data value is 10 ringgit 50 cent. Okay, so if you look at here, it appears as 10.50. Okay, because by default decimal is 2. Okay, so you can change this one. Okay, so if I put 1, then in data view it will appear as 10.5. Okay, by default decimal point is 2. So this one depend on us how your data values looks like. Okay, how you want to store the data. Okay, label. Okay, this one. Okay, let's say just now our complete variable name is amount spent for food per day. Okay, so let's say if you want to know better, or maybe you want to share your data with others. Okay, so if you put short like this amount only, others might not know what this amount is about, right? So maybe here you can put amount spent for food per day. Okay, means that label or description for that particular variable. Okay, values, this one normally for coding. Okay, after this I show you what is meant by coding. Okay, missing is missing here referring to missing data, so this one you can skip. Okay, column you can skip. Align, okay, right, align right means that in data view your data will be aligned on right lah. Okay, so this one if you change to left, then later on in data view your data will be on left. Okay, so this one should be no problem. Okay, this one reflect last column here, measure, this one reflect our scale of measurement or level of measurement. Okay, so recall we have nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. So if our data is numerical, so make sure you set it as scale. Okay, so otherwise either ordinal or nominal. Okay, let's say I key in data values for first variable amount. Okay, so let's say first data 10.5, 10 ringgit 50 cent. Second day, my amount spent for food is 12 ringgit, for example. Third day, 8 ringgit 70 cents. Third day, 12 ringgit again. Sorry, fourth day. Okay, fifth day, for example, 9 ringgit 30 cents. Okay. Okay, let's say I just take amount up to 5 days first. Okay, let's say I want to find value mean, mode, median, and any statistics for this variable amount. So what you can do, you can just simply click here. Okay, analyze, descriptive, and then you can go to descriptive statistics. Okay, one way to find descriptive statistics, either you can use frequencies here or descriptive statistics here. Okay, so let's say I click here, descriptive. Okay, choose variable that you want. Okay, so amount spent food, right click, you put on right box here. Okay, then you click options. Okay, so here you have some descriptive statistics to choose from. So we can, so by default, okay, you can choose if you want mean, you can take mean, standard deviation, variance, range, minimum, maximum. SE mean is standard error of mean. So this one you not cover. Okay, you not this one standard error of mean is not covered in our syllabus. So ignore that one first. Okay, then we have skewness, kurtosis, ignore. This one is not covered in your syllabus. So let's say I just take for these values first. Okay, you just click continue and then okay. Okay, it takes some time to produce the output. Okay, output for SPSS, it will give you another windows. Okay, so just now, this one is windows where you store your data and variables. So output will be given in another windows. Okay. Okay, if you look at here, okay, this is the variable, okay, our variable just now, okay, amount spent for food per day. So if you look at on the output, description or label of the variable will appear on the output. Okay, so that is the purpose of you put label on the output. Sorry, you put label on the variable view window here. Okay, so this part, if you did not put label, so what will appear on the output is only amount, okay, name of the variable. Okay, what you need to know is only on how to read this output. Okay, very simple. Okay, n referring to number of samples. So number of samples just now is 5, right? We have 5 data values just now. So 1 until 5. So that is by n, sample data. Okay, range. So what is meant by range? Range is given by maximum minus minimum. Okay, so 12 minus 8.7, we get 3.3. Okay, mean is 10.5. So how we get 10.5? Okay, so how you calculate mean previously? You total up all data and then divided by number of sample in the data. Okay. Okay, similarly, standard deviation. So how you calculate standard deviation? So you use formula standard deviation for sample. Okay, so now in SPSS, we consider for sample data. Okay, variance. So if you square value standard deviation, then you will get variance. Okay, so 1.5149 square, then we will get 2.295. Okay, now look at skewness. Okay, skewness here, it will give you two values, statistic and standard error. So you ignore standard error. Okay, so you just read statistic. Statistic means that value skewness. Okay, so be careful in SPSS if the value is start from 0 point something. Okay, so it will just appear as, for example here, negative 0.097. Okay, so 0 before decimal point is not appear. Okay, so it will give you negative 0.097. Okay, so my point here is be careful when you read value starting from 0 point something. Okay, so be careful here. So here is negative 0.097. So for this case, for this data, five data values that I entered just now. So skewness or the shape of data distribution is negatively skewed or skewed to the left. Okay. So very easy, very simple on how to read this output. Okay, note that for skewness in SPSS, it does not use formula in your note, okay, which is either mean minus mode divided by standard deviation, or another one which is 3 multiplied by mean 3 multiplied by mean minus median divided by standard deviation. Okay, so in SPSS it does not use that formula, it uses another formula. Okay, so it's okay, don't worry. Okay, so if you calculate, for example, mean minus mode divided by standard deviation, you did not get this value, should be no problem. Okay, because in SPSS it use another formula. Okay, how to get, okay, in this table, if you get in this table, we don't have value mode or median, quartiles, okay, Q1, Q2 or Q3. So where to get the values? Okay, another way to get other statistic is, okay, you can go to analyze, descriptive, and then just now we click descriptive here, right? So maybe now we can click for frequency. Okay, click the variable that we want. Okay, choose statistic. Okay, so here you can get another statistics. Okay, so let's say measure of central tendency, you want mean, median, mode. Okay, sum means that total all data. Okay, okay, and then for Q1, Q2, Q3, so you can click for quartiles. Okay, distribution, you just click for skewness. Okay, dispersion, maybe I want standard deviation, variance, range, minimum and maximum. Okay, then you click continue. Okay, okay, very simple SPSS, you just click. Okay, this is another way that you can get descriptive statistics for a numerical variable. Okay, so this one, it only give you range, minimum, maximum, mean, standard deviation and so forth. Okay, but with options that you choose from frequencies just now, it gives you more. Okay, okay, example here, n is number of sample, valid equal to 5 means that we have 5 data values. Okay, missing 0 means that we don't have missing data values lah. Okay, means that if for missing, for example, if missing equal to 1 here, okay, means that we, for that particular variable, we have one missing data value. Okay, after this I show what is by missing. Okay, mean as usual 10.5, median, mode, okay, mode 12. Okay, if you look at here, just now our data mode 12 repeated twice, right? So mode is 12. Okay, after this I show you output SPSS if we have more than one model value. Okay, standard deviation, variance. So how we get variance? Again, you square the standard deviation. Skewness, negative 0.097. Okay, so again remember, value skewness in SPSS, it used another formula. Okay, so you just need to know how to read the values only. Okay, so remember, if negative sign means that the data is negatively skewed or skewed to the left, and otherwise skewed to the right or positively skewed. Okay, range, how we get range? Maximum minus minimum. Minimum means that the smallest data in our data set. Maximum, the largest data in our data set. Okay, now look at here. Okay, now look at percentiles. Okay, percentile referring to quartiles value. Okay, so 25 percentiles. Okay, the first 25% of our data referring to first quartile Q1. Okay, so for that data just now, our Q1 equal to 9. So 50 percentiles, half referring to median value or Q2. So 50 percentile is Q2, which is 10.5. And 75% of our data, which is referring to Q3. Okay, so third quartile is 12. Okay, so where to get value Q1, Q2, and Q3 from SPSS output? You refer to percentiles. So 25% Q1, 50% Q2, and lastly 75% is Q3. So basically, that are the things that you need to know how to read descriptive statistics from SPSS output. Okay, this table, okay, this one we call it a frequency table. Okay, so for example, our data 8.7 frequency equal to 1 means that only one data which is 8.7. So if you look at here, model value just now 12. Okay, so 12 is repeated twice, right? So the frequency is 2. Okay, now I'm going to show you this part, model value. What if in our data set we have more than one model value? Okay, let's go back to our data just now. Okay, data values. Okay, let's say I put another one value which is 10.5. Okay, so if you look at here, 12 repeated twice and 10.5 also repeated twice. So meaning to say that we will have two model values. Okay, now let's run again for this data. So I choose frequencies. Okay, so our variable is the same, amount spent for food. Okay, statistics. So previously we already clicked these values. So when you re-click, it already clicked for you again. Okay, so we want to look at this value mode. Okay, model value. So you just click continue. So if you unclick this one, display frequency table. Okay, later on, this table will not produce for you. Okay, only this table. Okay, let's say I unclick that one. Okay, I unclick this one. Okay, so look at what happened. Okay, if I unclick frequency table, we will not have this table. Okay. Okay, look at here, model value mode 10.5, and then you have some notes here. A. Okay, A you refer to note here. Okay, A means that multiple modes exist. The smallest value is shown. Okay, so just now we know that 10.5 repeated twice, 12 also repeated twice. So it means that we have more than one model values, right? So with SPSS, it will show you the smallest data value in the output. Okay, so 10.5 and 12, the smallest is 10.5. Okay, so that's why here, so mode is 10.5. So A to indicates that in our data set we have multiple model value, means that more than one model value. Okay. Okay, now look at missing. Okay, here missing 0. Okay, just now valid equal to 5, right? So when I add another one data values, which is 10.5, now valid becomes 6, means that we have 6 data values. Okay. Okay, now look at missing. Okay, what's meant by missing? Okay, let's say you have 6 samples or 6 respondents. And then the fourth respondent here forgot to, for example, they forgot to give the information to you. Okay. Okay, so this is meant by missing. Okay. For that sample, you don't have the data for that particular variable. Okay, let's rerun again. Okay, frequencies, so the same thing. Continue. Okay. Okay, now here we have missing equal to 1. Okay, so total n equal to 6. Okay, so if you look at here, total equal to 6. So when you produce the output, okay, n is comprised of valid plus missing. Okay, 5 plus 1 equal to 6. Okay, valid 5 means that we have 5 data values for that particular variable. And missing means that there is one sample or one respondent who did not give the info for this variable. Okay, so that's by missing. Okay, now I want to show you for non-numerical data, okay, for qualitative data, how we can store non-numerical data. Okay, let's go back to variable view. Okay, let's say my variable is gender. Okay, gender, for example, you want to put it as male and female, okay? So if non-numeric, you click for string, okay? Characters 8, by default, characters equal to 8. Okay, so after this, I show you what this means by character equal to 8. Okay, click OK. Okay, so if you look at here, so just now is 12. Okay, I put 12. Huh? Okay, gender. Okay, let's say just now we already set it equal to string, right? Means that for non-numerical. So maybe you can put male. Okay, like this. Female. Or if you want just use F also, no problem. Okay, so it will be easier. So it's up to us as a researcher how we want to key in our data. Okay, by default just now, character equal to 8. What is my character equal to 8? Okay, let's say I want to type word learning. Learning. Okay, look at what happened. Okay, learning, how many letters that we have in learning? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, learning 8. Okay, so enough. Character in learning, we have 8 characters. Okay, what if I put continuously? Continuously. So what happened? It just appear until O. Okay, because until O is enough up to 8 characters. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that is meant by character equal to 8. So if you want to let's say word continuously, okay, you want to make sure it appear in full, so you can just edit here characters. So maybe you put equal to 15 or any number that you wish. Okay, so later on when you type here, let's say continuously, so it appear in full. Okay, so that's by character. Okay, now I want to show graph. Okay, so graph. Okay, let's say I want to produce few graph for variable amount. Okay, you can just simply click graph. You can go to legacy dialogs. Okay, let's say I want to choose box plot. Okay, so remember box plot only for quantitative variable. Okay, so simple. Then we have simple. We have clustered. Okay, simple means like for one variable lah. Okay, clustered means that you want to compare two variables at the same time. Okay, then you choose for summaries of separate variable for one variable only. So if you choose summaries for group of cases, means that you want to compare few variables. Okay, then you click define. Okay, click which variable amount spent. You put it on box represent what. Means that your box plot to represent which variable. And then just click OK. Then within seconds, SPSS will produce box plot for you. Okay, so how to rate box plot? So this one, it will give you in vertical form. Okay, so the one that you drawn in your note in horizontal form, right? Okay, so no problem, but make sure the value is at the correct scale. Okay, so what I mean by value is the values is on the correct scale and correct position. For example, okay, so here must be the minimum. Okay, so here Q1. So middle line here will be Q2 or median, and here will be Q3. Okay, so if you look at in this box plot, okay, you don't have another whisker uh to the top, right? Because why? Value Q3 also equivalent to maximum value. Okay, so that's why you don't have another whisker on the top here. Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, so it depends on our data values as well. So how to read later on, let's say in exam, question asks you to label this one. Okay, so how to know this value? Either you can read at this scale. Okay, so for sure if you want to read at this scale, you cannot get the exact value, right? But if you get the descriptive statistic, okay, so for Q1, Q2, Q3, minimum and maximum, you can refer to this table. Okay, so minimum is 8.7, maximum 12. Okay, so Q1 25 percentile is 9. So here will be equal to 9. Okay, Q1 equal to 9. Sorry, I think this one consider missing data. Okay, this one is not 9, right? Okay, let's say I rerun the data, analyze descriptive frequencies. Okay, so I choose for quartile here, continue, okay. Okay, this one correct. Okay, because our latest data just now, I already fill in for missing data just now. Okay, so 25 percentile Q1 is 9.15. Okay, so you're correct lah, 9.15. How about Q2? So Q2 refer to 50 percentile, 10.5. So Q2 here is 10.5. So how about Q3 here? So look at Q3 also equivalent to maximum value, right? So look at Q3. Q3 75 percentile, which is 12, and maximum also equal to 12. Okay, so that's why we don't have another whisker on top here. Okay, so don't get confused. It depends on our data, how our data looks like and what is the shape of our data distribution. Okay, if you want another graph, you can just simply click. Let's say you want histogram. Okay, you click histogram. So what is the variable that you want? And then you click OK. Okay, then we get something like this. Okay, so why you have space between this bar? Okay, because for sure, if you look at our data, we have very limited number of samples, right? Only 6 samples. Okay, so that's why you get something like this. Okay, so that's how you can use SPSS to produce some descriptive statistics and graph. Okay, simple graph like this.